Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is the broken promise Newcastle United insiders think Alexander Isak is talking about. Alexander Isak has claimed that promises were broken as he finally speaks out about his Newcastle United future. A lot has been written about Alexander Isak this summer, but the forward had not addressed the situation himself until Tuesday night. Isak released a statement on his Newcastle United future, stating that the trust between the club and himself has gone and that it is best for everybody if he is allowed to leave. In response, Newcastle released a statement on Isak. They proclaimed that no promises were made, and that Isak will be reintegrated into the squad when he is ready. Most importantly, the club made it clear that they do not envision the 25-year-old being sold this summer. Newcastle United think Alexander Isak is alluding to his 2024 contract snub. But what are the promises that Isak believes have been broken? That is where the confusion lies for Newcastle United. According to the Daily Mail's Craig Hope on X, the belief is that Isak is referring to being promised an improved contract by Amanda Staveley in early 2024, only for Paul Mitchell to change the club's stance upon his arrival that summer. Within a week of Mitchell becoming sporting director, Staveley and her husband Mehrdad Goudussi left St James Park. They sold their shares and ended their association with Newcastle United. When they departed, Mitchell's stance on Isak was that he still had a long-term contract until 2028 and that he was still one of Newcastle's highest earners. Therefore, a new contract on improved terms was not a priority for a club that was already restricted by PSR. The hope was that a new contract would be sorted out this summer, but Newcastle were blown away by Isak's wage demands. Geordie Boot boys understand that the Sweden international wanted to earn £300,000 a week at St James Park, which left Toon officials stunned. In their statement, Newcastle United made it clear that there is a way back for Isak. They have stated that he will be welcomed back when he is ready, opening the door for him to play for the club again. With the transfer window open until September 1st, there remains a chance that Isak could get his wish. That would depend on Newcastle finding a suitable replacement and Liverpool submitting an acceptable offer. That feels unlikely, but you can never say never. For a few weeks, the most likely situation has been that Isak simply has to stay put and he is ultimately reintegrated into the Newcastle United squad. That now feels even more likely after the two bombshell statements on Tuesday night. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our second news is going to make you sweat. Alexander Isak's Newcastle United to Liverpool transfer date named. Liverpool want Alexander Isak, but Newcastle United are showing no signs of softening their stance on keeping the striker before this summer transfer window ends. Jermaine Pennant believes a deal for Alexander Isak to leave Newcastle United will happen on transfer deadline day. The former Liverpool player remains convinced a move will materialise despite Newcastle showing no signs of changing their stance. They value the Sweden international at around £150 million and are unwilling to do business unless such an offer is forthcoming. A bid of around £110 million from Liverpool earlier this month hardly tested their resolve. Newcastle are also in the market to sign two strikers over the next fortnight, having yet to replace Callum Wilson after his summer exit, let alone any alternative to Isak. Pennant, however, believes the latter will join the former by plying his trade elsewhere in the Premier League this season. I just can't see them keeping him now, Pennant said on TalkSport's latest episode of their Inside Liverpool show. There's been so much noise and toxicity around the issue. He's unsettled at the club. Even if they were to keep Isak, you're not getting the same player, it's facts. So 70%, 80% Isak, you're not getting the same player. He doesn't want to be there, his heart's not in it. You can't force someone to be wherever or do whatever, he's got to do it on his own. Now, is it worth losing potentially £140 million to rebuild your squad, to keep someone who is going to give you not what he could give you before? And the value may drop as well. I think the deal is going to be done, but it's not going to be done while we play Newcastle. I think this is going to be a deadline day thing. Pennant concluded. This is going to be like, we're going to make you sweat, Liverpool. But I do see him coming, for sure. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our third news is Liverpool transfer ruled out despite Anfield being most attractive destination. Liverpool are among the clubs who have been linked with Real Madrid star Rodrigo. Xabi Alonso has ruled out Real Madrid selling Rodrigo amid Liverpool transfer links. The winger's future has been uncertain throughout the summer transfer window. Rodrigo has fallen down the pecking order at the Santiago Bernabéu, with the likes of Kylian Mbappé and Vinicius Jr. preferred. At the Club World Cup earlier this summer, Rodrigo played a bit-part role and did not come off the bench in their 4-0 loss to Paris Saint-Germain in the semi-finals. A potential exit for the Brazil international this summer has been mooted. Rodrigo will want to be playing regularly ahead of the World Cup taking place next year. Liverpool have been mooted as a potential destination for the former Santos man. The Reds have sold Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich and have not opted to sign a replacement. They have also tragically lost Diogo Jota, who was versatile and could play anywhere along the front line. While Premier League rivals Arsenal and Manchester City have been linked with Rodrigo, it was reported by ESPN Brazil that Liverpool was the most attractive destination to the forward. What's been said? But Alonso says that he believes Rodrigo is committed to Madrid. The Los Blancos head coach, who took over the hot seat from Carlo Ancelotti in June, said, "There are a lot of rumors this summer. He's looks good to me. I'm counting on everyone, and I want them to be committed to the team and be at 100%. That's what worries me and what's occupying me right now." Liverpool have also been linked with Lions' Malik Fofana in the summer window. As things stand, Cody Gakpo is the first-choice left-winger and scored in the 4-2 win over AFC Bournemouth on the opening day of the 2025-26 season. Head coach Arne Slot also believes that Hugo Ekitike, who has netted twice in as many games since being signed from Eintracht Frankfurt for up to £79 million, can play on the flank if required. Liverpool are also wary they do not want to block the pathway of Rio Ngamaha. The 16-year-old was highly impressive in pre-season and has a bright future ahead. Asked about potentially replacing Diaz, Slot said during pre-season, "At this moment in time, we still have Cody Gakpo, Rio is showing very good signs, and I think Florian Wirtz can play from the left side as well. There are enough options for me to choose from. But as I always say, another thing about Liverpool is that if we see a chance in the market, we never hesitate to bring someone in. In the end, it's about quality, and we have already made some very good signings. In terms of quality, we are already in the right place." Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our fourth news is Article 17, Newcastle's Alexander Isak could join Liverpool for £50 million. The Alexander Isak transfer saga has well and truly been the story of the summer, with the striker pushing for a move to Liverpool and Newcastle United unwilling to sell. The situation has now reached a volatile state with the Swede dropping a damning statement on Tuesday evening, August 19. The Premier League star accused the club of breaking promises, and stated that a change was the only way forward. "The reality is that promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interests of everyone, not just myself." Newcastle, however, hit back with their own firm response, expressing their disappointment in the player. They then suggested that the move would not be happening as he under contract and the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. The club also denied the idea that any promises had been broken about letting Isak leave. It's a wild situation and some, including Wayne Rooney, have questioned Isak's behavior. However, a little-known FIFA rule could explain his actions this summer. As per ESPN, Article 17 gives Isak leverage over Newcastle. Journalist Gabriele Marcotti explains that, although he is unsure whether the players' representatives are aware of the rule and its implications, he suspects they are, as it explains why they have been so aggressive in pushing for an exit. Despite having 3 years on his contract, Article 17 means Isak could leave and become a free agent in less than 12 months. The club he joined, likely Liverpool, would still have to pay compensation, but it would potentially be as little as half of the £110 million Newcastle turned down. However, the player cannot invoke the rule within 15 days of the final match of the season. Article 17 can only be used for players with less than 3 years of their contract, but that drops to just 2 years if they are 28 or older. Isak is 25. If this does happen, it is considered a unilateral breach of contract by the player, which means he's free to sign with any other club as soon as the market reopens on July 1st. The Magpies will get compensation, but it won't be as big as the reported transfer fees. FIFA's rules say the compensation would be calculated based on the damage suffered by Newcastle according to the positive interest principle, taking into account the individual facts and circumstances of each case. In short, the dispute resolution chamber of FIFA's football tribunal would take into account factors such as his wages, his residual value on Newcastle's books, and the cost of signing his replacement. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe. Our fifth news is Liverpool approve record Isak transfer in £165m double deal, with medical being organised. According to reports, Liverpool have approved a £165m double deal as they look to close the signings of Alexander Isak and another top target. On Tuesday evening, Isak and Newcastle laid their respective cards on the table with clear statements on this summer's biggest transfer saga. Newcastle's response to Isak's broken promises claim was that they remain firm on their position to keep the Liverpool target and are open to his return to the first team when the time is right. However, Liverpool's interest is not going away, and an update from Fabrizio Romano on Tuesday reiterated that they are very ready to improve their bid for Isak when they get the green light from Newcastle. The Reds have already splashed out around £80 million to land Hugo Ekitike, but Isak is widely reported to be their dream target, and they remain interested in the world-class striker, who scored 27 goals in 42 games last season. Liverpool have had a bid worth around £110 million, plus £10 million in add-ons, rejected by Newcastle, who are reported to value their prized asset at around £150 million. Now, The Sun are reporting that Liverpool have approved a record transfer for Isak in a £165m double deal, including Crystal Palace standout Mark Gahey. The Reds are said to have sanctioned a British record £130 million move for Isak next week, and are confident that Newcastle will finally let the want-away striker leave, while they still want Gahey for £35 million. Regarding Arne Slot's stance on Isak and the possibility of a part-exchange deal, the report adds. Slot told the Anfield hierarchy well before the end of last season that he saw Isak as central to the mega-spending masterplan of restructuring the squad that went on to claim the Premier League. With sales expected to have topped £230 million by the end of the transfer window, it is understood a decision has now been made to try to end that Isak saga by paying an extra £20 million. Harvey Elliott, a £40 million target for West Ham, could come into the equation in a part-exchange deal, depending on what choice the attacking midfielder makes. A report from Dave Okop, meanwhile, claims Liverpool are closing in on Gahey, and this deal could be completed as early as this week. The England international is available for a cut-price fee as he is in the final year of his contract, and the report notes that he has already agreed terms with Liverpool. The Reds are now said to be at the final stages of talks over Gahey, and a medical is being organised. Liverpool is now in the final stages with a medical being organised by the Merseyside Giants. Initially, Crystal Palace tried to hold out for £45 million, but the final price is likely to be closer to a £40 million package. Assuming everything goes smoothly, Guéhi could complete his switch to Anfield by the end of the week. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our last news is Fabrizio Romano, Liverpool ready to bid for unbelievable threat, who rejected club record salary offer. Liverpool have less than 2 weeks to wrap up their transfer business as links continue to Alexander Isak and Marc Guéhi. Liverpool are ready to bid again for Alexander Isak, it has been claimed by Fabrizio Romano, but only if Newcastle United open doors to a possible exit. Speaking before Isak publicly stated he can't continue at Newcastle, Romano revealed Isak has rejected a club record salary offer from the Magpies as he wants to make the move to Anfield. Newcastle have publicly responded to Isak's comments in which he accused the club of breaking promises and being misleading. However, the club has conceded that Isak could be sold if the conditions for sale are met. They have insisted they do not see those conditions transpiring this summer. There is still 10 days left in the window and the Magpies continue to be linked with several strikers, with Isak threatening to never play for the club again. If the Reds get encouragement, they will be very ready with an improved offer. They have already seen a £110 million bid rejected by Newcastle. Fabrizio Romano says Liverpool are ready to bid again for Alexander Isak. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Romano said, "What I can tell you guys is that Newcastle got, again, a strong message from the player. Newcastle these weeks, July, August, always tried to approach Alexander Isak. Always tried to say, are you sure there is not even one single way to continue together? They even offered him a new contract with a record salary for the club, but also with an exit clause, to let the player go in 2026. Alexander Isak, again, is saying no chance. Alexander Isak has no intention to change his mind. Those close to Alexander Isak maintain the same position, only Liverpool Football Club. Only waiting for the next steps on this story." He continued, "Liverpool are ready to bid again for Isak. I keep repeating that since July, and that's my position. Liverpool, if Newcastle will open doors, will be very ready with a new proposal. Forget about Liverpool not bidding. They will be very ready. They are very ready. And this is very clear after almost 10 days since this story is entering its really hot stages, and Liverpool never approached any other striker. Isak scored a stunning goal against Liverpool in a 3-3 draw at St James' Park in December but missed the reverse game at Anfield as the Reds ran out 2-0 winners. He did feature in the Carabao Cup final and scored what proved to be a decisive second goal for the Magpies. Ahead of the final, Slot said, "In the last game Isak wasn't involved, in the first game he was involved. He is such an important player for them, he's an unbelievable threat and has the speed." Isak has 4 goals in 6 games against the Reds but has only been on the winning side once. He only has more goals against West Ham, Nottingham Forest and Tottenham Hotspur. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.